boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna shoot you right down. Bang, 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 bang. Knock you off of your feet. Bang, 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 bang. I'm gonna shoot you right down. Boom, 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 boom. Take you home with me. I'm gonna shoot you right down.
What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over the Mac 9 DS comp. This is the budgetiest of all budget 2011s in my opinion. And I'm going to go over the key features that you'll find on this one. And if this is even worth getting into, or if you should just skip this and go straight to the more expensive ones. But before I get into all that, what is my relationship with Military Armament Corporation, or SDS Imports? I met SDS Imports at SHOT Show like 2 years ago. I have purchased some guns from them. This T-Sauce here I actually bought from Palmetto State Armory. If you don't know, SDS Imports has like a couple companies under the brand, one being Military Armament Corporation, T-Sauce, and I don't know what else. But anyways, this T-Sauce is a very excellent quality for the price. I think I only paid like 300 bucks for this thing here. And yeah, it's got like a recovered tactical like brace thing on here. Really, really cool. I don't know why it's not focusing on that. But anyways, the Military Armament Corporation Mac 9 DS here, they did send out to me for review, but they are not paying me for this review. So I'm going to give you my complete unbiased opinion. And again, they don't see my videos before I post them up. I post them up the same time you see them, they're seeing it. Now, starting at the front here, this is the 5-inch model. They also make a Commander model, I believe, which is like the 4-inch version, or 4.5, correct me on that. But this barrel is a bull barrel with a nice crown right there at the front of that. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of recessed there. And it also has a big old chunk port cut out of there, so that is going to aid you with some of that recoil mitigation, that muzzle flip. Very, very, very smooth shooting gun. Surprising how smooth this thing was shooting with that compensator. I would assume without the compensator it'll still shoot pretty smooth, but that does aid a little bit when it comes down to shooting. All right, so a little bit more info on the barrel. You got that chunk cut out on the barrel itself, and then you also have the chunk cut out on the slide itself. But even though this is a 5-inch barrel, this is, to me, technically not a true 5-inch barrel, just because it doesn't have the rifling all the way to the end of that barrel. So it kind of stops here on that last like 1/4 inch of that that 5 inches there. Hopefully I said that right. You get what I'm saying. But there's a portion here that doesn't have rifling on there. And that's why I went with the 5-inch version, just because I wanted more rifling on this barrel compared to, like, say, the shorter version, which I think would have been a 4-inch barrel, or 4 1/4 or 4.5. I forgot the size of that one. But anyways, the smaller the gun is, the less rifling you're going to have. On top of that, the chunk cut out, the less rifling you're going to have. So maybe those of you that don't really care about getting a little bit more recoil mitigation and would prefer more rifling would go with the version that doesn't have the comp on here. So just a note for you guys that are looking at these here. Moving on up, you get a blacked out front sight and you get a blacked out rear sight. The blacked out front sight, though, I do wish that it was a fiber or a tritium insert or something that's even colored on this thing. Again, they're all blacked out here, so maybe just even white nail polish or something I'm going to put on there later on. But something that's going to help me pick up the sight a little bit faster. And on that rear, I do love a blacked out rear regardless, so that's really nice. And then this optic plate system here, if you are familiar with the Springfield Prodigies, this is where I kind of first saw this cut here that was made, is the agency optic system. So I'm really fond of this optic cut here. So you get the agency plate in the bag, and it has this like little hinge section back there that you kind of just hinge to the back of that, put that down, screw the screws down, then screw your optic on top of that. That was one of my more favorite features of the Springfield Prodigy, and this one as well. And it's pretty rare to see something like that done on a cheaper gun. They usually try to cheap out and just do their own cut on here, and you got to kind of figure out what kind of optic plates they sell, or even if the optic plates are reliable, and you probably end up buying an aftermarket optic plate anyways, even if it did come with it. But that agency optics plate system is really nice. The biggest downside to that is the screws. I did talk to STS Imports, Military Armament Corporation, and they are aware of the screws. As of now, this video coming out, they probably have been doing it before, but as of now, what is this, June of 2025, if you have one of these prior to this, or even at this very point in time, and you're having optic screw issues, send them an email, and they're going to send you their newer versions that are a lot stronger, and they're basically not weak little screws that are gonna get loose on you. And that was the problem I was having out there while I was shooting this thing. I put Loctite. I did everything I needed to do to get that plate to sit down with those screws, and it just was not holding on there. It did get loose probably after maybe after like 200 rounds or so. So these screws are the weakest point on this gun here. So go ahead and just, even if you have this and you're not having issues, go ahead and just send them an email, and they're going to send you brand new screws for this gun here, just in case you do have issues down the road. Now, moving on to the slide design itself, the milling that you're finding on here, I think it's a really sleek looking design here compared to their other models where it was just, they just had front serrations. They actually did a little bit more milling on the front end of this here, and then they did those nice like lightning cuts at the front, and you obviously got your rear serrations there. Now moving on down to the accessory rail here, you got one little cutout. It does the job though. I mean, I put a Surefire X300 on here. It works. I use in that video, I use this this Recover tactical little adapter piece here that fits. This is made for a Glock, and I'm assuming this length here, if you do have like an X300 or something like that, you would use the Glock adapter piece, and you would put that here. This Recover tactical little adapter here, by the way, it allows me to just use whatever gun that it fits on and use it on that holster. So if I don't have a holster for this one here, I can just slap this on and use that one. Same goes for every other gun that has a rail. I can just put this on there and it'll work for that holster. But I really like the design of that as well. You just get that one accessory slot there. That's very staccato XC-ish, right? So you got that very similar one slot cutout, but also makes that basically that front end portion look very sleek. Moving on back, you get this beautiful slide release. I think that is probably my favorite part about this, and this is where it kind of gets my brain going on why don't higher end 2011 or double stack 1911 companies why don't they put these in there? It's extended for my short thumbs, usually on a normal 2011, like the staccato here. You have that short one there, so when you reload, all you guys that shoot 1911s or 2011s know this, you put the magazine in there and you kind of have to use your, I guess, the support hand thumb to release that slide. On a striker fired, you just put that magazine in and you release it with your dominant hand. But on the Mac 9 DS, you don't have that issue like you do on other 2011. So you can just go ahead and put that magazine in and release it. That, to me, tells me about how this company is actually putting effort into this gun and keeping it at a budget price. Now, I don't know the material this is made out of. I don't know if it's gonna last a long time or it might break later. I highly doubt it will. But just that alone is showing me that they're actually thinking about how should they make a gun that sets it apart from other cheaper options. They're not really, they stick cheaper parts in here, but they're kind of giving you a taste of what 2011s could be capable of at a budget price. You got that comp on the front, then you got this thing here, which to me, again, you can very well put that on another gun, but I just think every 2011 should come with an extended slide release. Just like every gun should come with an optic cut, they should come with that extended slide release. Now moving on back from that slide release there, you got ambidextrous controls for the safety here. You got a skeletonized hammer, and you also have this somewhat extended grip safety. Now this might be a good thing or a bad thing for some people. So some people have issues when it comes down to grabbing their gun, getting a good purchase on it, and actuating that grip safety and firing, right? So if you don't fully press this thing down and with the safety down, you will not let that thing go bang until you depress that safety and have the ambidextrous safety down and fire, right? So having it extended like that might give you a little bit better of a chance to actuate it and fire. Sometimes when they're too short, you might not get a good grip, and you might like cup around it where you're not holding it correctly and it won't fire. So that can be a good thing, but also can be a bad thing for those of you that have pin safeties, where you pin the safety down. Now you have that extra material sticking out of there, and it might be bothering you or something like that when you have a complete grip. So yeah, again, it can work both ways for you guys. Me personally, I've never had that issue with actuating that grip safety there. So I think it's a plus for me, but for those of you that have pinned ones, you might just get rid of that and put something else on here. But that brings me to the grip itself. Majority of the people that I'm seeing that have these are just switching out the grip itself, and it's for good reason. I mean, the grip itself does need a little bit of work in my eyes as far as texturing goes, or maybe even ergonomics goes. It just feels like the older STI grips, right? Like the old ones that before they were stippled. I gotta kind of pull one up on video, but those were just, it was a grip, a plastic grip that just didn't really feel too comfortable. You would see basically STI at one point. If you don't know what STI is, it's staccato essentially back in the day, but STI just started stippling and doing that iconic dragon scale stippling on there. This one I feel like kind of reminds me of the old STI grips, just not as aggressive as those. You got texturing on the back, and you got it on the front strap here, and on the side panels is pretty much non-existent for grippiness, right? So you got a super slick side panel here, which I think should be more aggressive here, and in the front and back, I mean, they do the job, but overall, I think this needs a grip makeover as far as sending it into somebody to get stippled, or what I'm seeing is people just switching out the grip completely and putting like an aluminum grip or a aftermarket stippled grip on this one. But I do give them credit for doing the double undercut here, that you can see that they are actually putting effort into this gun and not just slapping a grip on there and saying, hey, hopefully you shoot that thing well. It is doable. I didn't have any issues while I was out shooting, but to me, ergonomics wise, I would like a little bit more textured grip per se. Now moving on, you do get this extended mag release here. It's just a circular extension. Come on, focus, man. But that circular extension piece, it does come with an extra one inside of the case, and I would just suggest basically any of these screws here to just take them out, put some blue Loctite, put them back in, so that way you don't lose any. But in case you lose something, you have an extra in the bag. Really nice little extension there. Doesn't get in my way of the grip. Usually I take off the extensions on certain guns just because when I have my grip there, I'll accidentally press that mag release while I have my grip. It just becomes more of a problem rather than helping me. So this one I did not have a problem. So it does aid with my reloads. Moving on down, you do get an aluminum mag well, which is also nice. I've seen another cheaper version from another company that comes with a plastic mag well, but aluminum, and then I'll get into the trigger. That's also aluminum. Really nice that they're giving you aluminum parts rather than plastic and trying to cheap out on certain parts, you know, even though this is a budget gun. But overall, really nice magwell. Didn't have any issues with reloads there. And again, when it comes to the design of that magwell, it's very staccato-esque, right? I think a lot of inspiration on this gun. I think they saw the staccatos and wanted to give you guys a budget version of that. And I don't know, everybody's using the word turcado, so I guess this is a turcado. One of the last features on here is the aluminum flat face trigger, and it also comes with two other trigger shoes essentially inside the box. You get a short version, which is this one. I really like shorter triggers because I got short little fingers. And then you got a medium and then a longer. They kind of sit in different positions. Really awesome that they're giving you spare parts in the bag or just options in general for the price, you know. A lot of Turkish companies, believe it or not, Canik, they give you a crap ton of accessories with their guns, and that's one of the things that I appreciate with Canik. They give you so much stuff where you kind of don't really have to go out and buy other stuff to fit your needs, right? So this didn't give you as much as a Canik, but it does give you different trigger shoes, and then it also gives you a different or a spare mag release, extended mag release, and it also gives you an optic plate in the bag. I think that is very cool of Military Armament Corporation to include when you first purchase this thing. But the trigger is very nice. I think it's sitting around 5 pounds or so. Let me give you a little test here. Hopefully that's, there you go. Reset. Break. So yeah, a very nice trigger. It is sitting like around 5 pounds or so. So it's not light, but it's still nice and crisp. You got a nice reset and a nice break. But I would still probably drop it a little bit, maybe like a 3.5 pound trigger, send it into a gunsmith or something like that if you have one, and get some trigger work done, maybe a little bit of polishing, and you have a nice trigger. Also, before I forget, it does come with two 17-round mags in the box. And I did use my STI mags in here. They function fine, and I used my staccato mags and they function fine as well. I don't have any Prodigy mags to fit in here or any other, I guess, 2011 magazines other than staccato stuff. So I don't really know the reliability on those, but the staccato mags or STI mags work fine in this. Now, what are my thoughts on the Mac 9 DS here? I have around 800 rounds to this thing. I did have issues with I kind of knew it was going to have issues with subsonic loads, and it just wasn't cycling them out of there. With a compensator, you're going to get a lot of that gases, those gases escaping, and it's not going to have enough oomph to bring that slide back. But when I put 124 Super Vel in here, it ran perfectly fine. Again, I have like 800 rounds there. Didn't have any malfunctions with the factory 124, but when I was shooting my reloaded subsonic loads to this, it was having issues. So I kind of just recommend just shooting 124 grains or just factory loads in general through this thing. It shot extremely well for me. Again, this thing continued to surprise me for the price that it's coming in at. Like, I guess sub $1,000 this thing is coming in at, and I think it is a great baseline gun, but you're getting a lot for the price on this gun here. I still think that this needs a little bit more work internally though, as far as upgrades go. So I think that a toolless guide rod would help a ton. I don't really like this whole paperclip thing where you stick a paperclip or an Allen key or something in there and then you have to like kind of take out the guide rod. It might come with its own tool in here, but I think toolless guide rods are a godsend when it comes to 2011. So I would definitely pick one of those up, maybe a spring kit, so that way I can run different loads and I can put my little competition fart loads in this thing and have it shoot even softer. Not that it doesn't shoot soft already. A little bit more trigger work on this thing as far as maybe some polishing or different springs to make it a little bit lighter. And I think the biggest upgrade that you're probably going to want to get is the grip. That's probably going to be the more expensive one if you get an aluminum grip, or if you just get one that's already stippled, or just a different grip in general. So overall, though, I think this is a great baseline, a great canvas. And I don't say a blank canvas because, again, it does come with all those features, but it's a great starting point. What do you think about the Mac 9DS? Do you think it is a good budget option? Are there any other budget options out there that compete with this? Or are you the type that is just going to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to buy that $3,000 gun and call it a day and not worry about any other upgrades. I'm just going to learn that gun and shoot it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this one here, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Really appreciate you all. Love you all. Catch you in the next one.